Hey guys, I watched Double Tap last night. It came out in 2000 and it had Leslie Chung as the lead role. And anytime I have an opportunity to watch a Leslie Chung movie, I thoroughly enjoy seeing his performances. And I just wish that more of his movies were as good as the performances in them. Double Tap has a lot of stuff going for it, but unfortunately, it was hit real hard with the simplicity and just way too straightforward of a story to really garner my approval. Now, I'll go into that later, but basically the story in Double Tap, without revealing too much, is there are two shooters in the middle of a competition, and something happens in this competition, and it just causes one of the men to lose it. And then there is a big murder case that shows up a few years later, and it looks very familiar to one of these shooters. So it ends up being a kind of like a crime. It's like a crime story, but not really that deep of a crime story. It's not really like an episode of CSI, if you will. It ends up just being, almost like The Fugitive, except for a lot more fighting back. This guy is just a force to be reckoned with. He can shoot really, really well. But anyway, the thing about the story is, it's so simple. I mean, there are hardly any real plot twists in the movie. And it's pretty much just a typical crime movie without anything real interesting happening in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, they did a good job. There wasn't really any crazy over-the-top action scenes of, people jumping 6 feet off the ground, no wires or anything, which I hate seeing in a lot of Asian movies that are presenting themselves to be just a normal, down-to-earth movie about normal people, and the next thing I know, there's people, someone will shoot something and it'll fly off the table and they'll kick it out of the air, and there's all this crazy jumping and stuff, and I love that stuff, don't get me wrong, but in a movie that's supposed to be realistic, it feels very out of place, and that's why I'm glad that Double Tap just sort of stayed as far away from that stuff as they possibly could. All the shooting is, it's very, very down to earth, very tactical, just aiming, firing, none, no crazy holding the gun sideways and all this dumb stuff I have to see in so many movies nowadays. But yeah, the movie, I want to give it a better score, and I want to say I really loved it. But in the end, even though the acting was great, even though the characters were great, even though it was very well done, I mean, I'll have to give it a 7, and that's being generous. I was thinking 6.9, but since Leslie Chung is in it and his performances are always worth watching, I would recommend giving it a rent, but don't say I didn't warn you if you were a little disappointed by the movie. I thought this movie was great. I mean, if you read the Netflix description, or watch a trailer, they really do make it look awesome, but unfortunately, it just basically ends up being a stereotypical crime movie with really good acting. So, anyway, 7 out of 10 is my verdict. If you really like Leslie Chung, then watch it. Otherwise, I don't know. I guess I can't really recommend it.